peace, prosperity, and love, beautiful people. Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the Black and African diaspora in material of socioeconomics, politics, religion, and so forth. The centrality of this podcast is immersive empathy, introspection, deep thought, soul-serving conversation and communication, all in the light of unlocking the keys to vulnerability and transformation. During our time together, we will engage in topics related to mental and spiritual health experiences, the intersectionality of mental health and creativity, identity and culture, and any and all things related to healing from trauma, gathering insights, cultivating a deep sense of knowing, and repairing soul wounds. In the essence of communal love and collective consciousness, let us open our minds, lighten our hearts, settle our spirit, access soul intelligence, and affirm the richness of our humanity.
Love, blessings, and abundance to all of you. We are back for another episode of Gracefully Imperfect. It is our Kyle Toon, and I am so grateful and so thankful to be here with all of you. I hope that wherever you are, that you are finding peace, serenity, good health, excellent companionship, protection, love, and safety. We are in a very, very turbulent time period. And I really hope that you are striving to carve out some time for self-knowingness, self-love, generating energy that can be used and properly metabolized to refill your cup and to create joy in unjoyful situations and to create happiness in not so happy moments. I also hope that if you are estranged from any family, any kinfolk, any friends, that you deem is worthy of reconciliation, that you search for the answers from within, that you take that time out to contemplate and to quiet the mind and allow your connection to the divine source to help you support your next steps. Whether that's mending the relationship, mending your own pain, pivoting, and finding other ways of expression. I truly would love for all of you who are tuning in is to heal and make healing your forever and loving friend. It's so glad to be back. I have thoroughly enjoyed being on this platform and bringing this platform back to life, and all of you who have been subscribing over the last 2 months. Ashe. Last week, we spoke about the distortions of mental health, and not really mental health being a distortion, but just how it can be distorted and how the definitions and the concepts of mental health has limited our way of thinking and conceiving and the behaviors that we associate with mental health as well. Without getting into the nitty gritty, because I really hope that if you did not watch it, that you go back and watch it. And I'm going to put it in the show notes so you can go back and watch it. It's very important because what I try to do with these episodes, they're not in complete alignment with each other, but they do branch off and they do extend and they are interconnected in some kind of way, shape, or form. You could just watch this for what it is and not have to worry about what happened before. But it's also, to me, it's like watching your own TV show and you just tuning in on episode 5. Episode 1 through 4 holds so many golden and critical insights, so many different nuances about the characters' journey and idiosyncrasies. It gives you so much understanding of the shaping of the show. I also think, too, that if you want to get the best and to get the best from this, that you go on back. So I'll put it in the show notes for you. The title of the last episode was called Being Missed, Self-Knowing, and Becoming. And we're talking about restructuring and re-expanding our thoughts and ideas and conceptions with mental health. Also, if you have not noticed, that we're moving everything to Substack. So on the Substack, the publication name is Creativist. And Creativist has 2-3 other supporting mechanisms. Gracefully Imperfect, the podcast that we are all sharing time and space in right now. And we have the actual Creativist publication, where I bring poetry, personal narratives, reflective analysis, theoretical type analysis. I bring all that together. And we're discussing everything from mental health, creativity, expression, Black experience, Black perspective, all wrapped up in an Afrocentric paradigm. We're speaking to life. I mean, that's essentially what it is. And then we have another newsletter that's called Soul Medicine. Soul Medicine, what makes Soul Medicine very unique is that Soul Medicine is specific to the process and the journey of becoming a liberation social worker. And so in Soul Medicine, everything that is written there is from the lens and the perspective of a liberation social worker, an Afrocentric liberation social worker, which is I. And so you're getting different flavors. The podcast, you're getting a lot of vulnerability. You're getting a lot of intimate conversation. I use this as a way and means to connect congruently through real dialogue, especially anything related to our ideologies and our expressions and our process, our life process. You're getting from Creativists, you're getting the intersection between prose and poetry and narrative writing. From from Soul Medicine, you're getting the creative writing. You're also getting a complete breakdown in our social world, or different aspects of our social world, from a liberation social worker's perspective. So please, come on over to the Substack. Let's create community. There's also a chat system there where we can talk, where we can share, we can celebrate, where we can affirm, where we can connect on beyond just the pre-recording podcast where you're just reading the articles. So let's create a Gracefully Imperfect community on Substack. So come on over. Shame. And I also want to make it known that I have enabled a paid subscriber system. Some things will be free for all. Some will have to be purchased through the membership. And I am doing this because for a few years now, I've been doing a lot of things for free. And I want to continue to do that. And I want to continue to give myself openly and honestly and genuinely. I also have to make sure that what I'm giving and how often I'm giving is taken seriously. So in the essence of Ujama, I have set up a subscriber membership for those who desire to be a part of this building of Gracefully Imperfect, this building of creativeness, this building of mental and creative liberation, to be a part of it now. And also I have a family. My family, I am a father, I am a husband. I must look out for their needs. And so I will still be giving. There still will be some free offerings. And there will also be now paid offerings as well. So now that we got all of that out the way, how is everyone's spirit? My spirit is light, very calm, very relaxing. My spirit is in bright blue, orange, yellow colors. I feel my spirit is very creative. My spirit is urging me to be more creative, to create, to be a lighthouse for others to create, not to teach, even though I believe teaching is inherent with this type of divine willpower. But I also think that my spirit is urging me to continue to be and become an asset, a catalyst for healing. So how's everybody else's spirit? Just think on that. Say it out loud if you want. Whisper it to you. These are the type of questions that we must ask ourselves to ground ourselves in the here and now. Is your spirit fuzzy? Is your spirit dark? Is your spirit just wandering without any type of anchoring? Your spirit has everything to do with your personhood. And if your spirit is out of sync and is not in harmony, then your personhood is going to be shattered. So I give that freely and openly. Ask these questions to yourself, ask these questions to your loved ones. How is your spirit today? For today, though, for our conversation, our intimate conversation, I would like for all of you to kind of just roll with me. And I'm going to explain to you why social work. I keep bringing up the fact that I am attached and associated to social work in some capacity. I have mentioned that I will be graduating in May with a Master of Social Work degree. I have spoke about Soul Medicine, which is a newsletter that speaks to the perspective and the lens of a liberation social worker. But why social? Out of all the different professions and all the different ways and means of supporting and helping people, why social work? I think it's important that before we can even begin to answer that question is to really get a glimpse of what I was doing for social work. I was in the military from 2010 to 2023. And in the military, I was an intelligence professional. However, I also became a senior leader. I became a chief warrant officer too, which requires the technical, tactical, and the very practical ways of leading and directing and coordinating. And so it's a very specialized type of officership. And during this time in the military, I didn't just do intelligence work, and I didn't just do officer work. I found myself being a part of different human services programs within the military. The very first one is the Equal Opportunity Program. And even before that, I wanted to be a master resilience trainer. I wanted to provide education and generate awareness around what it really takes to really struggle and fight through and battle through the adversities of life. And, to my dismay, I could never get certified or get the proper education to get the certification to then become a master resilience trainer. So I looked to another avenue, and I looked to equal opportunity. And equal opportunity, it's similar to the EEO in the civilian world. It's all about dismantling, eradicating toxic work environments. It's about protecting those against racism, discrimination, sexism, misogyny, ageism, etc. It is the front line or the first line responder to the dehumanization of people. And so I worked as an equal opportunity leader, ensuring that every micro environment within my own unit was safe, free from toxicity, free from extremism, free from people being oppressed by other myopic folks. And I really cherish that work because people used to come to me and they really trusted me deeply. And they would speak to me about the experiences in their offices and what happened during physical training, what happened during they went to the range to go shoot their weapon. There's just the trust and the vulnerability and the safety that I experienced. I did not take that for granted at all. And always at the end, it was always this, okay, what are you going to do now, Sergeant Toon? Now that I have opened my heart and I have expressed to you in great detail, what are you going to do now? And so it was always this challenge of being the vessel and the conduit for these individuals, a part of these different sections. But also then it was, okay, now how do I channel that? And how do I harness it and channel it in a way to now that when I go address it or go and develop a intervention plan, that I can hold on to that consciousness. I can hold on to the experience and the humanity in full bright colors. But I can still look at the problem, the issue, the injustice, and attack that full throttle. And so that was a great challenge, and also but it also produced a lot of beautiful reward. The next thing after that I started doing is I became extremely interested in the sexual assault response and prevention program. And I have a very personal connection to sexual assault, sexual harassment. One of my most beloved family members experienced sexual violence and kept it under wraps for a very long time due to inner shame and inner guilt. And also, I really wanted to, because I could not help them and I could not be of support to them. I realized just how much of a epidemic that is for a lot of people. And so I became trained and certified as a victim advocate for sexual assault and sexual harassment response and prevention. That was very gratifying work as well. And in that, just like the equal opportunity, I got a chance to do casework. I got a chance to do focal groups. Got a chance to do one-on-ones and intake assessments and, presenting presentations and trainings. I created leadership workshops to help leaders within their own sections, their own units, to become more attuned and empathetic to the needs and the needs of their soldiers. And so I, very early in my military career, I began to do a lot of social work related type activities to support the dignity and humanity of soldiers. And so I did that for equal opportunity and victim advocacy. I did that for 10 years, 10 out of the 13 that I spent in the military. Now, I didn't come out the military. I didn't think about it in terms of, okay, I want to switch over to social work. However, I did realize that once after I went through my undergraduate in psychology, and then I began to go down the graduate pathway to become a family and marriage therapist, which we can get into that another time. I will speak to that experience as well. Once I came out of that graduate program, I was pivoting. I was like, okay, now I'm getting out the military. I need to switch over to a local university. Where should I go? What should I study? Should I still study family and marriage therapy? Should it be something else? And I found a program local that had the Master of Social Work. And I relived a very critical moment in my graduate school experience. And I remember I was speaking to a counseling educator, PhD professor who teaches counseling and therapy in my last program. And I remember asking her, as a Black woman, I asked her, I said, if you could have done anything differently, knowing what you know now, what would you have done? And she said to me, she said, I would have went social work because social work is more flexible, it's more diverse, and you can do more with it after graduating. And so fast forward when I'm looking at the University of Colorado Springs' website, and I'm seeing Master of Social Work. That came up. I was like, oh, that's I remember being in a very, very crucial and critical conversation that at the time it didn't resonate as much as it did in this very moment. And so I went the social work route. I did not do any other research. I literally used that quote from that professor within that context of me going through a different program, but the professor was very adamant about doing social work. If she could have done it, if she could do her career all over again. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. And so as I realized when I went forward and I matriculated into the program and I became acclimated to the historical origins of social work, which that's another conversation too. I would love to get into that. The program that I'm in is very whitewashed, and I would love to explain how I navigate through a very Eurocentric, whitewashed curriculum, and I will share that with all of you. But once I came over from family and marriage therapy to social work, I realized early on, I was like, oh, this is what I've been doing in the military for so long, with equal opportunity, with victim advocacy, with being a squad leader and a platoon sergeant, helping soldiers with their pay, helping soldiers get the emergency resources in order to attend a funeral, helping soldiers and their families get enrolled in TRICARE healthcare, escorting soldiers to the emergency center for them to receive psychiatric inpatient services, having monthly developmental counseling sessions where we're not only talking about their career and their performance, but we're also talking about their needs and their wants and their aspirations, getting a sense of who the soldier is outside of the uniform. I've always been very particular about that. I see that your last name is on your chest. I see that we're all wearing the United States insignia. I see your rank. Okay. That never really meant anything to me. I wanted to see a soldier beyond the boots and uniform. I wanted to know what the upbringing was. I wanted to know their social and community system. I wanted to know their hobbies and their interests. I wanted to know about their past experience and their history, their family values, their community values, their religious orientation, their spiritual orientation. I wanted to really get a glimpse and a full comprehension of their humanity. And so it translated over so smoothly from military to social work. And I began to see the parallels of what social work is as a profession to what I was doing as a sergeant to chief warrant officer to. Very similar things, just that it looked different because of the uniform and didn't have a beard at the time. But very much when you look at the deeds and you look at the impact and you look at the inventions and you look at the practices and the activities, very similar. And so that's how this dynamic occurred. The military, even though I've had my struggles and conflict with the military power structure, I was still able to come out of it and eventually realize just what I was doing, how I was doing, and who I was impacting was actually all a part of a grander plan, which at the time looked very, very intimidating, and I was very scared. But I literally took a leap of faith, and I believed in myself, and I believed in the fact that the divine in my ancestry they're not going to let us fail. They're going to keep us grounded, and they're going to keep us moving through life naturally and humanely. I want to say that this conversation has been very loving and very helpful, and I really hope that with me drawing out the military experience to how that impacted and affected the decision to become a social worker, I really hope that resonates and it touches your spirit and it restores your soul and that it enhances and expands your consciousness. Take everything that I'm saying and look to your context. I'm not asking for you to validate my context. Take whatever I'm saying and apply it to your family, your social, your communal, and cultural context. That's what humanizing is all about. That's what it is. That's what self-knowingness, self-knowledge is all about. Granted, I want you to see me. I do. I also want you to be able to see yourself. I want to leave you all with a quote. I got this quote from my favorite psychology scholar, Dr. Amos Wilson. I listened to one of his speeches, lectures really, on African-centered self-consciousness. And then he also got that speech transcribed into a book called The African-Centered Consciousness versus New World Order. I can also put that in the show notes as well. And the quote is, "Man's consciousness is a creative act, and the kind of consciousness one has will determine the kind of world one creates." So please use that as not only reflection, but also use that as an affirmation to do something. It's been great. It's been lovely. It's been beautiful. I can't wait for us to continue on this journey together and co-create healing pathways and become more transformative, more vulnerable in the here and now for ourselves, for our people, and for the next generation. Peace, love, and infinite wisdom. See you all soon.